Once again, thanks for watching Hip Hop Mixing in the Kitchen with Dio and Papa.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, mixing in the kitchen. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, mixing in the kitchen. Recipes, seasonings, hip hop topics. The reason is we hip hop foodies. Talk good music, cook good foods. Enjoy the show, homies. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, mixing in the kitchen. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop. Hip hop recipes, seasonings, hip hop topics. The reason is we hip hop foodies. Talk good music, cook good foods. Enjoy the show, homies.
Today's episode is dedicated to one of our fallen soldiers, the notorious B.I.G. So, to give him a big shout out today, we got a 22-ounce steak, some cheese eggs, and Welch's grape. Well, that's actually gonna be wine, but y'all know how I do. Want to take a second to give a shout out to my producers T-Mill and Pocahontas for helping me with the music today. Now let's get into it.
What's up, everybody? We're back, and now we're gonna season up our steak. We've got some butter, we've got rosemary, and we've got garlic. There we go. First of all, we want to make sure we add our oil to our steak. So we'll pour that now. Get it all over that steak. And once again, if you like to marinate for 30 minutes, it's even better. But you want to make sure you coat both sides of that steak. And then we go in with our seasoning, which is onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, salt, seasoning salt, everything you have in the kitchen, man. And you want to salt and pepper and season all sides of the steak and massage it in well. All right, so I think we've got seasoning all over our steaks now. And we're going to go and we're going to put it on the hot skillet here. Look at this pan, sizzle. Everything nice and hot. So that way we can put a little bit of that on the steak as it goes and as we cook, and it's gonna baste into that steak to make it even juicier. All right, Papo adds in the garlic and he's adding that rosemary, and you start to get a fragrance as you're cooking. That's what you're looking for. You want everybody looking around the corner to figure out who's cooking and what they're cooking. Today's episode was all about beef, T-bone steak, eggs, and Welch's grape. Along with our discussion today, we wanted to go into our fallen soldiers of hip hop. Now there's many of them, but there's 5 that we wanted to pinpoint to talk about today. That would be DMX, Black Rob, Shock G, Nipsey Hussle, and Pop Smoke. So yeah, we want to start with DMX. And this is Papo's man. This is one of his favorite.
Oh,
so
man.
You know, let's see.
What would you know? Gonna put me on the spot early.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your thoughts on DMX?
Look, DMX is one of the most accomplished artists. First of all, for what we do with this music thing, I think a lot of people don't understand exactly how hard it is to achieve the success that he did, especially with his first 4 projects. Yeah. Like, it's one thing, I've seen a lot of artists go platinum first album and then the second album didn't do so well. They might be able to make a comeback, but for him to drop 4 albums in 3 years and they all go platinum,
yeah,
is something that we look back on now that he's not with us anymore and say like, wow, like that really was an accomplishment. I feel like he was definitely the most authentic outside of Tupac. You know, Tupac is my all-time favorite, but outside of him, I think that DMX definitely brought a sense of the real world for the common listener throughout his music. You know, it was very easy to follow him, very easy to feel his pain, to feel his happiness, to feel all his emotions, you know. So he definitely influenced me a lot as far as the way that I want to go musically.
And more so than anything, people, he also made us bark for like 10 to 15 years as grown folk and kids growing up. He made it free to be friends with dogs. And I know it's a lot of people out there that have pit bulls, that have Rottweilers, that have dogs, period, because of DMX. You know, I just think about It's Dark and Hell is Hot, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, just all out classics that really showed the passion that he had for music and really just passion for life and just someone trying to basically scream out the pains that they have, almost like a pastor, right? like a rap pastor. And you know, he was able to do that and really get people to hold on to that.
Well, I would say that the next person on the list would be somewhat close to DMX because they worked together at various times in their careers. So what about Black Rob?
Whoa! That's all you can say. That's all you can say. That's all you can say about Black Rob. I mean, obviously, that's what he's known for the most is the track Whoa, which I think was on his first album. His first album release. I don't think the second one when he released did as well, but you had Whoa, you had the Whoa remix. Both of them were on the top 100s of the Billboard's hottest tracks at the time. So for that, he'll always remember, you know, for all of us. I don't think anybody, you know, not in disrespect, I don't think anybody will remember him for nothing other more impactful than Whoa, because that song was a summer hit. It was, you know, everybody was saying the Whoa stuff. So
it also set some trends in ways, and I say that because that was one of the first songs that I can remember being that big where he repeated the same thing over and over. I mean, he basically said like whoa after everything that he said for the most part in the song. And I think that kind of started a new trend in hip hop as well. And especially when you get into the current music, I think that trend is way more popular than people realize, but they won't realize that it started with him, you know, on Bad Boy. I don't think a lot of the younger listeners realize that Black Rob did a lot of writing on Puff Daddy's No Way Out.
Yeah.
So, you know, Puff Daddy's name was the one that was behind it. I mean, of course, he got all the accolades for the album, but Black Rob was a very important part of that album.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that we give him some credit.
Yeah, so always look up their history, people. Writers are very important, just so y'all know.
Yeah, writers are very important.
Because No Way Out is one of the biggest albums for Diddy, arguably. He would say probably, I think he loved, like Diddy probably loved No Way Out, so I think he would probably agree with that as well.
We got Shock G.
Shock G. Although I talk about Shock G, I always started off by saying how appreciative I am for Shock G for finding or giving Tupac a chance. And most people don't know, you can research it, but it's, you know, a lot of people that grew up around that time definitely remember the movie. But I think Papo didn't remember, I had to tell him about it. But if you ever get a chance to look up the movie, it's Nothing But Trouble, starring Tupac is in there. He's young, 18, 19 years old, it's crazy. Shock G as well, who put Tupac on to be in the movie. You got Chevy Chase, you got Dan Aykroyd. It's a comedy, but like I said, when you see Tupac in that light, man, it's so good to see him alive again, first of all, but then see him as a young cat still trying to get through the game. He found Tupac, so that's always gonna be my biggest memory about him, you know, so.
He had more of a party vibe, so that music, as we know, in the early 90s kind of fizzled out a little bit. I think the gangster rap started to take over a little bit, and that wasn't that it wasn't his fault. I don't feel like he was a bad artist.
Not at all.
Or that he didn't have what it took to get to the next level. It's just the game changed so quick on him that his style didn't feel as needed in the game anymore. And, but I want to second what you said about Tupac, because without him, period, we probably wouldn't have had Tupac in the capacity that we had.
You know, and then you go to a lot of people's favorite, you know, Cali, LA.
They love Nipsey, man.
Yep, we can really talk about Nip.
So,
the first thing that comes to mind with Nip is when I lived in Atlanta previously, and I would make trips back home to NC.
mm-hmm.
I remember I had this CD. It had Nip's first mixtape on it,
mm-hmm.
and it had J. Cole's first mixtape on it.
Wow.
And those two albums, like, I couldn't get past. They were the first two on the CD. And when I tell you, like, I listened to them so much to where I knew songs just by the time I got home, you know.
It's called music.
And at that time, Nip wasn't really known at all.
Yeah.
He was definitely underground. He was definitely a new artist. And I bought a code to kind of point out the time reference there, because I don't think a lot of people, by the time they knew Nipsey, they didn't know he had been in the game for as long as he had.
Yeah.
You know, we talking 2010.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think a lot of people knew, with the success of Victory Lap, by the time it was really known, I don't think people really understood how much music he had done at that point.
When you start to do those things, people start to see those things manifest. They get a problem, they get jealous with it. And that jealousy outrules the bigger picture. We've seen that all over history. And sadly, it's probably not gonna stop, because, like I said, jealousy is what it is. Especially when you have a certain confidence in yourself that you can get things done in the community, you're starting to do it. You have a cachet when you start to speak, and that can bother some people if they don't have that cachet, or people don't listen to them the same way they listen to you when you speak.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, Nipsey, man, I'm glad he was able to at least get to where people started to listen, and I think a lot of people have started to want to be entrepreneurs and stuff more. And that just kind of goes into the next young fellow, Pop Smoke. Again, with him, like his music gets more accolades now after he's passed, and now it's just one of those things where you just wish he was here to make more. But for the younger generation, he was somebody that I thought they could have definitely latched on to. Somebody that wasn't afraid to, hey, if he hear a nice beat with a melody on it, he don't mind harmonizing to the ladies. He don't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all, people. And I actually like his songs because of that. I know 50 says he doesn't sing, but if he doesn't sing, he at least harmonize. He can get out here with that. But that is what it is. I love 50 when he harmonize. He can say he rapping all he want to. He harmonizing people. Okay, whatever. But yeah. So that was just my little take on Pop Smoke. So,
With Pop Smoke, for me, we discussed this off camera, but I really didn't know much about him until he passed. And like you said, I feel a little bad about that because we don't often give people their flowers while they're here. So I don't think that takes away from what he was able to produce musically at all. It's just unfortunate.
Thank you for checking out the discussion, but I haven't forgotten about that Welch's grape. Well, I got a wine, but same fruit, so I'm sure Big won't mind. All right, it's called Silver Palm. It's from California, and it was made in 2018, and it's a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's medium acidity, full-bodied, kind of get some spiciness with it. It's definitely full of fruit, get a lot of blackberry and black cherry, and you definitely also get that taste from the oak that it is produced in, so it's got a real good flavor to it. So take a little time to pour 2 glasses, give up a toast, and let's get back into this show.
All right, and now we're gonna turn that steak, baby. Look at it. Big will be proud right now, you hear me? Look at that steak. Cross marks on it, still got it on the hot side of the surface so we can finish that other side, but it looks great, people. We've got our eggs, we've got cheese, we've got parsley. Like I said, we got our salt and pepper mix and some butter to go along with that as well. So now we'll get ready to prepare the eggs as we finish up that beautiful steak. Now just remember, when you're making your eggs, it's very simple. Pan hot, scramble them. I love mine scrambled, so we're gonna scramble. All right, So we're gonna go ahead and heat our pan up now. And I usually do about medium high. All right, and we're gonna add in our butter here. And you don't need much butter, because you're gonna add just a little bit of oil. We've added our rosemary, we added some butter, and look at it, man. It's pretty much cooked to perfection. So we wanna go ahead and remove that off the grill. That is amazing. We'll actually let that rest now as we get ready to finish up our eggs. And now we're just mixing it up one more good time as we get ready to lay it in. And we let these cook nice and easily, cook themselves. If you're on about a medium high, medium heat, it won't take long for these eggs to complete for you and be delicious. You want to give the cheese enough time to melt. You want a ooey gooeyness in there. You don't want to give it too much time. Because the cheese will start to go too much to the eggs. I like to keep a little chunk in there, a little chunk of cheese in those eggs. So we'll just stir it around slowly here until it heats up. It'll come together on its own. We don't have to do much. So our eggs are pretty much cooked now. We've got them down to a nice, fluffy, tender egg. But after we stir it up here now, we'll add it onto the plate, right alongside our steak here that has been resting. And that's what you get. T-bone steak and eggs. And Welch's grape. Add a little extra parsley, and the dream has been made. Let's go have a taste. See how it tastes. All right, now we're to the fun part, the tasting. We've got our Welch's grape, which is our nice wine for the day. We got the T-bone steak, the cheese eggs. Shout out to Big one more time, baby. That's how you cook a steak. About 6 or 7 minutes on medium high to high heat, depending on your gas or your electric. Beautiful. But as always, make sure you guys subscribe, like, share. We appreciate every last one of you. And as always, y'all be good or better than the rest. This is Papo and Dio with hip hop mixing in the kitchen. First season.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, mixing in the kitchen. Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop, mixing in the kitchen.